Good morning, folks. Welcome back to Coffee Time with Almeida. Today is Thursday, April 30th. Yes, tomorrow is May Day, Friday. Today, we have Adam Ford on the show with us. He is a bike messenger and a bartender, but right now he's just chilling on his couch in his room. Adam Ford, welcome to Coffee Time with Almeida. What's happening, man?
Not a whole lot, Chris. How are you?
Good. I have a child here.
Yay!
Okay, I'm gonna pick him up because he's requesting picked up. Now,
Nice.
Adam, you met Adam.
Yes.
You met Adam.
Hi,
You have a
buddy.
picture. You have a picture with Adam from my birthday party. Remember? Oh man. So, hey, can you go eat some breakfast or something? Thanks, buddy.
Good.
Yep, another day of the Almeida house.
I love how much my friends, my young friends, and that means I'm referring to you as a young person, are like best friends with their little kids. Like all of my friends that are around your age that have kids your age, their kids are their best friends. Like their favorite thing to do is hang out with their kids. Just do whatever the hell, like it's. I have a lot of faith in the future generation.
Yeah, it's
People who are in their 20s now, I have no use for. The kids that are coming up behind them are going to beat their asses. I can't wait.
Probably.
I hope I'm still bartending then. It'll be in another, 15, 20 years. I'll probably still be doing it.
Dude, I mean, I have a tattoo that I want to show off when I'm 65 behind the bar, so.
Yeah, so you're going to look 40 when you're 65, probably.
Hopefully. Do you have a tattoo? Do you have any tattoos?
I've got 4 of them.
Okay. I thought
4 or 5.
All right. I was just hoping. Can't trust people without tattoos. Oh.
I haven't gotten any new ones in a while. I did get the most recent one I did get in Brooklyn, but it was actually after I moved back up here. I came down to New York to do the Warriors race again, which is a race that follows. It's modeled after the movie The Warriors, that 1970s crazy gang movie that got banned because it was starting riots. So it's a race that starts at 6 p.m. in the Bronx and it ends at 6 a.m. on Coney Island. And just like bike gangs have to like cross New York City and do a bunch of dumb shit. And one of the checkpoints in that race is you have to go get a tattoo.
Oh, wow.
At a tattoo parlor in Brooklyn. And my whole team of all like old messengers, like all of us, like my team, I think we had maybe 7 or 9 guys. Seriously, we had about over 100 years of experience on that team. And they were like, Ford, you're up. And I'm just like, why me? They're like, you already have tattoos. I'm like, you want to tell me not one of you guys have any tattoos? And they're all like, clutch the pearls. Like, are you fucking kidding you? I'm like, I'm the only Courier here. And all of my tattoos are Courier related because basically it was like one of my old crew in the Boston Blackouts and the Low Life Incorporated were like, you're getting these tattoos. Like, I don't want tattoos. They're like, you're getting them. Like, we're not having it. This is not a discussion. We're just informing you.
Getting a tattoo.
Yeah, no, like these ones. My friend Michelle did that.
Oh, I definitely remember those. So
she became a chef. She was running all the meatball shops in New York for a while.
Oh, dude, I love the meatball shop.
And now she's up in upstate now. She got married to her longtime companion.
So I just want to refresh something here real quick. So you lived in Boston at the same time I lived in Boston in the late 90s.
I think so. I was in Boston from 90. I mean, I grew up here, but as a grown up, I was living in Boston in South End in 1993 till 2006 when I moved down to New York, and then I moved back in 2014.
So I just want to see so my roommates when I was in Berkeley, we lived in Allston, like Allston and Harvard and Allston, like that. So I mean, it's Commonwealth and Allston, right?
Sure.
Right across from the bottled liquors. You know that is.
Yeah.
My roommate Justin Menard and Lorenzo, they're both bike couriers. Do you remember either one of those guys?
Lorenzo sounds very familiar.
Yeah. Justin Menard's like this skinny little French kid. They used to call him Frenchie. But they were roommates anyways. But
back then there were seriously like 200 bike messengers.
Yeah, you probably know a shitload of them. But anyway, so then we kind of crossed over, but you and I never met in Boston. And then I moved to Los Angeles, you moved to New York, and then I moved to New York in 2008, and that's where we met was in Soda.
We met at Soda.
Yeah, in 2008.
Yeah.
and now it's 2020. So then you moved back to Boston in 2014. You just decided to get the hell out of New York?
Dude, I kind of did everything I wanted to do. Like, I got my first job down there in the bar world. Like, as a messenger, I had so many friends in New York as a messenger that, I mean, like, it was like a hero's welcome because I won the world championships in 2003. So I was famous. So, in the Courier world, it was no problem. I got a job right away. And then to get a bar job, it took a minute because, of course, New York City bars are like, we don't give a shit who you are, where you're from. This is New York. So my very first job was I had to take two written tests. I had to take a test on a 51 wine by the glass menu, and then a, uh, a dinner menu test. And the entire menu was in colloquial Italian. And so I was like, word, okay, this is a whole quantum leap better than Boston. Like, it's so much more demanding that I was like, okay, cool. Like, what else you got? And so I just kept kind of climbing the ladder. And then, halfway through my time down there around 2010, I got hired by Southern Tea out at Rye in Williamsburg. And it was just a complete re-education. Like, that is in no way an understatement. Like, Southern saw me, he saw I had potential, and he could overlook the fact that I basically, despite having had 10 years of bartending experience at that time, I didn't know how to make a drink.
Well, that happened to me.
And so he broke me down and built me back up. And it was because of Souther's tutelage and his investment of time in me that I was then able to get a job at Michael Whiteside Fiore. So then I went into the world of Michelin-starred fine dining. And then from my Fiore, I went to Le Bernardin. And then while I was at Le Bernardin, I also went and got rehired by my old manager from my Fiore to work at Il Buco Alimentari. And my lease was coming up, and I was like, well, damn it. Like, I kind of got it.
Like, yeah, you made it.
I worked for Eric Repair, Michael White, and Southern Teague. And I was like, all right. And I honestly, like, my lease was up. My mom didn't like me being so far away. My mom lives in Maine. My parents are immigrants, so I don't have any other family in the United States. And the commute from Brooklyn and Queens into Manhattan was just getting really onerous. Like, I did the math, and I realized in the 8 years I lived in New York, I spent one full year doing nothing but commuting. That's how much time it took.
Oh, it's insane.
So I was like, all right, I'm going to go back to Boston. Sure enough, I got back, and Boston's easier to live for sure because it's smaller and for the most part cheaper, even though it's still really expensive. But yeah, no, the still has a long way to go.
I just want to comment on, I can't believe that you were working with Southern Teague in 2010 and I knew you.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. So, because I didn't get into cocktails until I left New York City and moved to Providence.
Yeah, no.
In 2014.
That was working for Souther was incredible because when he hired me, he made me his project. Like, because it was his bar. I mean, he didn't own it, but he was the bar manager. So he would only schedule me to work with him, and I was the only bartender he would work with. And he just every single day I worked for him, he would at least at one point he'd fly down the bar and go, "What are you doing?" Like, he was horrified, aghast. He's like, "What are you doing?" And after a while, I just knew to stop. I would put everything down and take a step back and be like, I was making a vodka soda. What am I doing wrong? So I remember that day in particular. I was on service bar. It was my first Sunday in the tip pool, and even though it wasn't warm out at all, it was kind of a wet, cold Sunday. But at Southern Teague, I mean, he was already, a celebrity at that point. So when that part of Williamsburg wasn't completely saturated like it is right now, but we had the cast and crew of The Daily Show and Wes Anderson among our regulars, and they loved Southern. Like, he was the man. It was very humbling because he was one of the things where I'd come over and I'd be like, "Hello, how are you this evening?" Present menus, and they would literally kind of look past me, and be like, "Oh, we'll wait for Southern." I'm like, nothing. I mean, but it was a great lesson because it was a great lesson in humility.
Sure.
Because Souther was just, I remember the good thing about Souther is very generous with all of his knowledge. So, literally, I was like, "Souther, I need to, how do I get to be like you? I want to know what you know. I want to be able to do what you do. What do I do?" And he literally just kind of reached past me and pulled a book off the back bar and was like, "Start here."
Yeah.
And first book, I think I have it right here somewhere. It was Anthony Diaz Blues Spirits. That was the first cocktail book I ever read. It's not a cocktail book. It's this history of liquor. But
Oh, no kidding. I haven't read that one.
oh, it's awesome. Needless to say, the whiskey chapter is like, a third of the book because the whiskey chapter has the most eccentric stories. But
so you crossed over like for a minute because you were working at Woodwork for a minute.
Yeah.
Was that before or after you were there?
When was Woodwork?
Must have been. It was like early 2010.
Must have been right before. Once I started work at Rye, that was it. I was just in Michelin Fine Dining until the end, until I left New York City.
Want to say good morning to Jeff and Rodney. What's happening, fellas? So then you moved to Boston, right? So so where are you right now? I mean, you're nowhere, right? You're right now in your closet. I mean, your bedroom.
Yeah.
I thought you moved out of New York City, man. Jeez.
No, like this is my man cave, but it's not a cool man cave at all. It's all bookshelves and bookshelves.
And
bookshelves and this fucking couch. Felt like I was very respectable for actually buying a couch. I didn't inherit it. I didn't find it in the trash. No one gave it to me. I literally went and fucking was like, yeah, I need a fucking couch. So I thought, this is a couch.
It looks like a very nice couch.
It's all right. It's a legit couch. It's not a fucking futon. It's new. It's not.
It matches your outfit.
I mean, like, I'm going to concede that I am a grown up in some areas of my life, and I think
you own a couch, a brand new couch.
Not having shitty fucking third hand me down furniture is part of that. So,
hey, I've got a question for you. That book you just showed us, a guest is
Anthony Diaz Blues Spirits.
Yeah, he's asking, what's the most interesting whiskey fact you read in that book?
Here it is. Yeah, here it is. Look, I found it. I'm with art, dude.
Asking the most interesting.
I can tell you off the top of my head. There's 3 whiskey stories in there that I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, whiskey makers are weirder than all the other spirits makers. Because like vodka is interesting. Vodka, despite the fact it's one of the oldest spirits and it's made everywhere, whether or not people call it vodka. You think because it's so old and it's a complete utilitarian thing. Like whatever they have too much of in that part of the world, they turn into vodka. Whether it's grain, rye, potatoes, grapes, whatever the fuck it is, right? But in the whiskey chapter, so number 1 was Macallan. So the Macallan stockholders or whatever get together and they're like, sir, the Americans just passed the Volstead Act. We just lost our biggest customer. What do we do? And he's like, ship it to Canada. Let them smuggle it over the border. And so Macallan referred to that as their special arrangement with the Canadians.
Oh, that's crazy.
They didn't skip a beat. Then continuing on into Canada, Canadian Club. Sir, we just lost our biggest customer. What do we do? Double production. Huh? He's like, that stupid law is not going to last forever. When it falls, we need to flood the market. Whatever we don't smuggle into America, we'll just put in warehouses and we'll crush them when the stupid law comes down. It took 13 years. But sure enough, name one bar you've been in that doesn't have Canadian Club behind the bar. Not one. Name the last time you saw a Canadian Club ad. Never. Right?
Oh, never. And they're everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it is everywhere. Number 1 best fucking crazy whiskey maker story ever. Jack Daniels. Started distilling whiskey when he was 9. Bought the still. His first still he bought off of his preacher that he was like apprenticing with or whatever. Somewhere along the line, Uncle Nearest comes in and educates him on carbon filtration. Becomes a wealthy man at a very young age. Sometime in his early 30s, like he's 33 or something, and he fucking goes into his office in the morning. Can't remember his combination to the safe, right? So what does he do? Because he's most likely hammered, kicks the safe as hard as he can, breaks all the toes in his foot, gets gangrene, dies.
Whoa.
That's the best whiskey story I have right now. Jack did, dude, I'm telling you, it's in this book. Didn't read it on the interweb, and I've read it in 2 other print sources. One of the other cocktail books I have, they mention how JD died from gangrene.
That's crazy. I'm gonna pick that book up for sure.
Yeah, no, and it's a good book. Anthony Diaz Blues Spirits. Souther, of course, wrote the best cocktail book I've ever read, which is I'm Just Here for the Drinks. Which, if you know Souther, that is like the most common, like that is typical Souther understatement. I'm just here for the drinks. He also happens to have like an encyclopedic memory. He's got a James Beard Award. He's like got a palate that like he can taste things no one else can taste, so he can put drinks together better than any man I've ever seen. You know, like he prints money at Amore and Margot, which is one of 5 bars that he's running. Like he's a machine. But then he writes a book that he wrote on his iPhone. Like it's in the acknowledgments in the book. And thanks to my iPhone, because I literally wrote the book on it.
That's
Like
amazing.
literally wrote this book on his iPhone. So whatever, he's got another book coming out this year, like soon, I think. So I'm just here for the drinks though. It's like insanely good book. It's partly history of spirits. It's partly how the distillation and coopering of all different spirits is, plus cocktails, the history of cocktails. Like in the vodka chapter, he talks about the really cute story about how the Moscow Mule was invented by 2 Americans.
Oh,
One American,
because of advertising, right?
What's that?
Because of advertising, right?
No. These 2 American industrialists, essentially, one of them bought Smirnoff. Smirnoff at that point had escaped because of the communist revolution. Smirnoff, the company, was like, they're a capitalist organization. So they're like, we got to get out of Russia. So they moved to Spain. The funny thing about like Smirnoff, the one country Smirnoff is not made in, Russia. But anyhow, so Smirnoff was being made in Spain at the time. An American bought a controlling share of it and brought it over to the United States. This is like in the mid 1900s, sometime like 1950s, 1960s. Like vodka took a long while to get here, despite being around for thousands of years. So this one dude, and Americans hated it. They were like they had no use for it. Americans were like, fuck this. We're drinking rye and bourbon. We don't want your white spirit, whatever. So this guy's losing his shirt. He's commiserating. He's at some fancy bar in New York or whatever. Some other guy comes in there who had bought a controlling share in a ginger beer company, and he's going broke. He's like, what the fuck? I can't fucking give this shit away. They came up with this promotion, the Moscow Mule, came up with the copper mug. They invented the whole thing.
Yeah,
to sell vodka.
So it's pretty amazing, right? And then now look at it, like you can't go anywhere and not get a mule. Everybody's asking for mules.
Can't swing a dead cat without hitting a young white man who wants a Moscow Mule.
Hey, so tell us a little bit about the 2 spots you're at right now.
One of them I work for is connected to and owned by the gentleman that owns the Boston Bruins and the Boston Garden. So it's a 600-seat restaurant with 3 bars in it. And it's we've got Jackson Cannon as our beverage director, and Jackson, while he's not materially involved as he is in Eastern Standard, Hawthorne, Island Creek, Branch Line, and Road 34, he is behind our cocktail list. And if anybody can come up with a really good cocktail list that is easily replicatable and something you can bang out in a sports bar, it's Jackson Cannon. So he sets our cocktail list. He's behind our spirits. We have 4 boutique bourbons that are made for us. Well, they're not made for us. We just have our own barrel at Eagle Rare, Elijah Craig, Woodford Reserve. Jeez, I'm forgetting one. Elijah, Eagle Rare, Woodford, and it'll come to me. So there's that, and it's a 600-seat restaurant. We have 80 draft lines. It's just a mega restaurant that prints more money in a week than some restaurants make in a year. But it's unique and as I mentioned to you before, that the cocktail renaissance has trickled down enough in the United States where you're getting people, young men and women in their early 20s, like fresh out of college, new professionals, who actually have some familiarity with spirits and cocktails, and they actually know the difference between a good Manhattan and a bad Manhattan, and what a classic rye old fashioned actually is. So if you have a bartender such as myself, fortunately for me, and I worked for Jackson before at Les Sablons, but also I cut my teeth in places like Empire Hotel Rooftop Nightclub and at Woodwork and Faux Republique in Boston before that. So I've got like sort of like the speed to slang drinks, but also the knowledge to craft cocktails. And you need to have both those skills in a place like the place in the garden. But you have an opportunity to make a loyal regular who's going to stop by and get a drink from you every single time they go to the garden. And I've had guys come up and be like, literally say, "Do you know how to make a Negroni?" And I kind of chuckle. And I can see they'll start like pulling their phones out to show me the recipe. I'm like, I got you. I was like, believe you me, I will bore the pants off you with what I know about that drink. And so, knock one out. And guys like, that's incredible. Can I get 9 of those? And he's like, and him and his whole crew will be like, thank you very much. Like, this is the best. And it's the same thing with, if you're going to knock out a Manhattan or an old fashioned, because Lord knows old fashions are still getting slaughtered in most bars. And then also just like be sure you're not going to be able to fight the tide of, have a few good pink drinks in your back pocket that aren't Cosmos, because like citrusy sours are never going to go away. The 2 most ordered cocktails in North America are the Cosmo and the Margarita, which are essentially the same drink. So follow that model and take the pink thing to the next level. So one of the easiest, best things to do that I found, if you got the extra 15 seconds, make a pink lady. You make a pink lady for a young woman at the bar. Like that woman, they'll be like, that's the best drink I've ever tasted. Like, also probably factually accurate. But those people are going to come back. They are going to be like, they'll be giving you their phone numbers so that they can text you that drink. And then also the other thing too about a pink lady is it is fairly easy to make. The egg white thing, but if you can get your dead shake and your dry shake quick, and you can do it, just treat it like a competitive sport. You know what I mean? Don't you're not making a YouTube video, you're making a drink.
Yeah,
You should be able to knock that thing out in 60 seconds or less.
Yes, I agree with that 100%.
And so you can do it, and you do that. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna if I'm worth my salt, and I have been trained by 2 of the best bartenders in North America, Southern Teague and Jackson Cannon, I should be able to wrap my head around a Ramos Gin Fizz. I'm like, I got to be able to make this drink quick, but I got to make it consistently. And then I had the light bulb that I was like, wait a minute, Pink Lady and a Ramos Gin Fizz are almost the same drink, with the exception of grenadine. I'm like, why not make a Pink Lady Ramos Gin Fizz? So you've got a pink, you've got a cylinder that's pink with this pinkish meringue on the top that tastes like pomegranate sherbet.
Oh, it's amazing.
So
yeah.
I started playing with that, and I remember this woman was just like, "Can I eat that?" And I'm like, "Yes, you can." I handed her my bar spoon because she had to get down in the Collins glass. She was like, "I think that's the best drink I've ever had." I'm like, "Might just be the best drink." But you know where to go to get another one. I'll do that. I did that actually for one of my servers' roommates. She literally brought her over and she's like, "Adam's my roommate." She's like, "I'm not done. I gotta do roll-ups and whatever." I'm like, "So keep her entertained." She's like, "Yes, please." I'm like, "Got it." So I started, being like, "Do you want to play guinea pig? I've got a couple ideas." So I did that, and then I made what did I do? I made a riff on the Jungle Bird again because it's a pink drink. Made a gin Jungle Bird, I think. But again, pink drink, crushed ice. Off to the race.
So what are you guys using for crushed ice over there?
We have Hoshizaki.
Oh, nice. So you actually have a Hoshizaki crushed ice
machine. We have pellet ice. Yeah, it's pellet ice.
Yeah, pellet ice. Okay. Yeah. So
okay. Actually, no, that's actually not true. Hoshizaki will make you anything you want, really. So you have the cubed ice machine. We've got a hotel ice machine for the servers, for their servers, for their sodas or whatever. We have a machine that makes crushed ice. So it's not pellet, it's actually crushed. Yep. And then we also have a shaved ice machine that the kitchen uses for oysters.
Oysters, yeah.
So yeah, and the Hoshizaki machines, while they are a little bit temperamental compared to like just like a regular old bar ice maker. They're not quite as touchy as a cold draft.
Cold draft, yeah.
They're a
So
little, like you have a longer period of time when they work beautifully and when they just refuse to make ice, and then you get your guy in there and he just whatever.
Hi, Adam. The doctor's here to see you.
My God.
Hey, can you call a doctor before you come to work?
Jesus Christ. Look at that. I have a feeling that's your toy. That's not your son.
Can you call the doctor before you come to work, please? Hey. So hey, tell us a little about bike. We're kind of running short on time, but I want you to tell me about bike carring real quick. And
being a bike messenger is it's not going to go anywhere because it's still hard to replicate that service inexpensively. That's the bottom line. Is I mean, you can get door to door anything. I mean, like right now, you know, like you've got places like Amazon that can get it down to 1 to 2 days. But if you need something there inside of 60 minutes, you need a bicycle to do it. So that it's not going to go anywhere. It's definitely shrunk tremendously. Motorists now are a lot more courteous than they used to be, for sure.
Well, you've been hit a couple times, right?
Oh my God! Every 2.5 years, you fucking pay the gravity bill, as we like to say. No, I've been run over. I got run over by a Jeep on Canal Street in Boston one winter. For sure. No, but I mean that's the thing is, I mean, you getting hit and run over by cars is the silver lining to that is you realize that you're tougher than you thought you are, and it's not the end of the world. It hurts a lot. It's actually embarrassing. Every time I got hit by a car, I remember just feeling very embarrassed because you're helpless and you're injured and you can't really do anything and you're at the mercy of other people. Like you need other people to come to you to administer care to you. And it's a powerless feeling and you feel it's like really, it's sort of like, it's going to leave a mark, but then you get through it and then you realize like, wow, that wasn't the end of the world. But you know, you being injured, you know, the world doesn't stop. You get over it. So, you know, I still do it because I love it. And being a bartender actually lends itself to it as far as knowing how to maintain your composure no matter what kind of a day you're having. And like you know, it's like being weeded at a bar. You still have to like deliver good service. Sure. So when you're, you know, going into you're going into someone's office. So you better be on your best behavior. So, you know, it's stuff like same thing as when you're in a bar, you know, be polite, be patient, speak in complete sentences. Everything is please and thank you. You know what I mean? Like if you can even work a joke in there, all the better. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Something I'm going to do. I mean, I just built a new bike for it.
Oh, nice. So yeah, so you're not working right now. There's not much couriering work.
There's almost no courier work right now. There's certainly not enough of it. I mean, I'm better off just collecting unemployment.
Yeah.
Than going back to work.
What are you looking forward to the next couple of weeks?
There is the Bike Messenger World Championships are in Bogota, Colombia this year in September. So the lockdown came at a perfect time where I don't have to work. I don't have to keep late hours. So I got my road racing bike, made sure that it was all, I put it in the stand and just made sure that everything was working perfectly. Got a new power meter for it. And every day, so I'm like, all right, I won't overtrain. So I've been training every day, just putting in miles and using a power meter so I can lock in precise effort zones. So my goal is to be race ready. And by race ready, I don't mean in shape. I mean like race ready, like fast enough to win a fucking race, not place. Win.
How many
every other dude there.
How many messengers compete in that?
Back in the day, back in my day, in the 90s, you get like 1,000 kids turning up for that. Now it's down in the hundreds. However, South America has a much bigger and more vibrant bike messenger world than in North America and in Europe right now. They're all young. They're all like wicked into bikes. They all have pretty nice track bikes. They know what track bikes are. A lot of women do it, which is what used to be the case in Boston and in North America in the 90s. almost like 40% of the bike messengers were women, whereas now it's zero. Um, so it's all skinny white guys. But in South America, you're seeing a lot of women doing it. Um, and it's just young and vibrant, and they seem like crazy, but it's like their use of social media is a lot more kind of organic and enjoyable. Like it's just they're kind of a different breed. Somehow, they're just looks a lot more fun. One of my best messenger friends here in Boston is from Bogota, so we're all going to go down there, and I'm very excited. The kids from Mexico City, Bogota, Colombia, huge messenger scenes, so it should be fun. And they're young. They're young. It's hot down there. Bogota is at altitude. It's going to be a hard race. So I've been, I ride the rollers every day.
That sounds pretty awesome. Yeah, I see your shots
painful.
on Instagram. I saw your rollers on Instagram.
Yes. It's a point of pride because a lot of people won't ride rollers because it's so hard and painful. They'd rather use a stationary trainer. And stationary trainers are much more advanced nowadays. They've got like automatic resistance built into them, and everything's Bluetooth and stuff like that. You can like set it up where you run a program on your laptop where you actually race against people because it's all wireless and stuff like that, and it controls your trainer to increase resistance as if you were racing.
Oh, that's pretty incredible.
With rollers, which is really low tech, you just set a resistance on it. You like set a switch.
Mm-hmm. And you're stuck at that resistance until you get off it and switch it.
You can get off and you can change it. You can raise it or lower it, but you can also, if you're on a geared bike like I am, it's a road racing bike, you can increase resistance just by changing the gears. And it's got a power meter, so I can set into, like, you lock in an effort zone. Power meter is something that it reads in watts, and it's instant. Watts are essentially, a watt is a calorie per second.
Oh, wow, okay. Nice and good to know.
You put it in that, and it's real time. It's like, you do like 20 minutes at 200 watts, and then 10 minutes of rest, and then another 20 minutes, or whatever your program is. It keeps you from overtraining, but it also makes sure you get the workout you need. So because it's in a controlled environment like rollers or a trainer, you don't have to worry about wind, traffic, stoplights, hills. Like, you're in control of whatever effort you're going to do, and the time that you do it, rather than distance. Whereas, you go out for 75-mile ride, you're out for the 75 miles. You know what I mean? Like, you go 35 miles in one direction,
you got to come back.
You're going to do that workout. If you start to have a bad day or something, you don't feel right, and you want to cut it, you can't when you're actually on the road. Whereas with rollers and trainers, it's precision effort zone. So I've been doing that. Because otherwise, I'll just go crazy. Like, this much inactivity is bad. Like, I'm definitely going crazy. Like, way too much social media, way too much Facebook, way too much Instagram. Like, if you get like you go into a black hole where you lose an hour of your life.
Your eyeballs are just like, so. Oh shit! It just I had something funny to say, and it just went zoop, right out of my head. I was gonna say, well, you look like you've been, staying healthy. Riding your bicycle.
That's definitely, a lot of that's genetic, but as you know, it is genetic, dude. My people are survivors.
Cool. Well, hey, I hate to let you go, but we gotta let you go. We're running low on time, and the next show's on at 10. But hey, I'm gonna have you back on, and we're gonna do some more talking again because I think we have a lot more stuff to talk about.
I have my toolkit. I have 2 toolkits. I have one at home. We want to do actually like nerdy cocktail bullshit. I got all my shit here.
Well, we could do like a live cocktail thing on Instagram, maybe.
Whatever you want.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you a little bit. I'll call you this afternoon.
Copy that.
All right. Awesome. All right, Adam. Just chill there for a second, till we wrap it up, if you don't mind.
All right. Copy.
All right, folks. Tomorrow we're on with the cocktail guru, Jonathan Pogash, coming at us from Dartmouth, Massachusetts, and I like to leave you with the comic genius of Josh Bell. Thank you for watching, folks.
What did Mix say? Multiple Mix in the cell next door. He hissed at you. What did he say?
He said, "I can smell your croissant."
Coffee time with Almeida. really fun time.